So I just need to give myself a pat on the back real quick. Pat, 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 pat. Because on last week's call, I mentioned that I believe there was going to be a 1 to 3%, potentially 5% pullback in the coming weeks. And so, without drawing anything on the charts, um, this is where. Did my screen move over for you, Nate? To okay, cool. Um, so this is the charts that I drew last week. So this was a support line. So just as I said a second ago, accumulation underneath the current price means support. Accumulation above the current price is resistance. So obviously, coming into next week, which we did break above. We broke above actually this high. So if we can come back and test this breakout from the week prior, the stock market's most likely moving higher next week, which is going to be a good sign for small cap names like ZOM. So if this breaks out, if we look at the RUT, which is the smaller cap names, kind of like what you're mentioning with DOM, we see that they actually had a really good week. If we look at the entire week, so 5 days. So we saw a big sell off in the early week, and then we saw it come back right to where it was the prior week. So I'm keeping a really big eye on RUT, because if this stock breaks out, sure, don't have my drawing tool on. If RUT breaks above this mark, because there's so much, look at that. Okay, this is the thing about the stock market you got to realize is everything's patterns. So crazy movement right here, bounced off, came down, came above, then broke back below. This line is so important. This right here hit exactly that mark, came down, came up, tried to test it again, broke down, and now it's trying to test it again to the upside. So if the RUT breaks out, ZOM, high probability it's going up next week. VYNE, high probability it goes up week. Any small cap names, high probability they're going up next week. How much is, a different question. Because if you look at, we have some resistance pretty close to where we're at right now, and then I'd be looking for a breakout of this top. So if we see the S&P 500 breakout, or at least hover around this top, then this is most likely going to break out next week. Same thing with the Dow Jones. So macro markets, I'm trying to make things sound as simple as possible. So macro markets right now, the SPY is kind of leading everything, and the NASDAQ, which is this. So obviously you see this is broken recent highs. This is broken recent highs, which is way back here, and now it looks like it might break out again. But the Russell 2000 and the Dow Jones have not broken out of their highs. And so, yep, 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 yep. Apple, Facebook, Tesla, Google, all those kind of names. Yep, Jake. Cool, man. Get those kids to bed. It's getting late. But you can watch this back if you want to watch me break down the rest of the charts at some other time. We'll post it on YouTube, and it'll be on Twitch for you to watch back. Um, but yeah, so what I would look out for a breakout for the RUT and the Dow Jones next week. Because basically the RUT and Dow Jones a lot of times lag the rest of the market. So you'll see the S&P 500 breakout, you'll see the NASDAQ, and that's just because those big names that people love, like we just mentioned, Facebook, Google, all those big names. Excuse me. And so now we're going to look if RUT, the Russell 2000, man, I got the hiccups. Russell 2000 and the Dow Jones breakout. And so if the Russell 2000 and the Dow Jones do not break their highs, this is a bad sign for the overall markets over the next few weeks, couple months. If they do break out, that means that there's probably more upside over the next month or 2 months. I guarantee you 100% that's the story because these always lag, always lag. Um, and so, like I said, I'll say it again. If the Russell 2000 and Dow Jones break out over the next couple weeks, in the next couple months, the market will be green. If these do not break out and they stay flat, then the NASDAQ and the SPY will stay flat. And then I'll be getting more worried about the market. Nothing crazy worried, but say like June, July come, we could see like a little bit slowness in the market or a little bit pullback. But if these break out, I'm talking just overall markets. So